welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. I'm so excited about today's vlog. This is again future me popping in here to give an intro because for some reason I always forget to give intros. I just get too excited and get into the vlog. Anyway, this week's vlog, we are going to be reading the most popular books on booktok. I kind of judge this off what is being coming up on my For You page the most. So it may be slightly subjective, but these are like novels and just books that I keep seeing so much and everyone just like absolutely ranting about, everyone just absolutely loving, and I want to jump on the trend. I want to see if they're worth the hype they're getting. There are a few books I have in mind. I think we're going to get to about 3 this vlog. So excited, also so nervous because like, will they live up to the hype? That's always the biggest question, but hopefully this can determine whether you are going to read these books or not, and if you have similar book taste to me, whether you think you're going to enjoy them or not. So let's just start reading. I strongly believe there is no better feeling than getting out of the shower, having washed your hair, feeling so fresh, getting into some comfy clothes like leggings and fuzzy socks, and of course bookish merch because like we love that, making a tea and then being able to sit down and know that you have like unlimited time to read. That feeling, that feeling is superior. That feeling is what I'm feeling right now, so very excited about that. The first book I'm picking up in this vlog is Daydream by Hannah Grace. I read Wildfire literally like the other week and I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I read Icebreaker like years ago when it first came out. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought. And I've been seeing such good things about this book. Like I've been seeing so many people say like the main female protagonist is so relatable, like you just feel so seen with her, and I'm really excited for that. I really liked our glimpses of Henry in the past books. So if you don't know, Hannah Grace writes like interconnected standalones. So technically you can read them, like you should read them in order, like Icebreaker, Wildfire, then Daydream. But you could read them as a standalone. But like you get cameos of all the different characters. We're set in Maple Hills, which is like a kind of university area. Now I did actually start this just the other day, but I'm only like 30 pages in. Yeah, I went to the park and sat and read for a little bit in the sun because it was just so nice and just lovely. I did that yesterday. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more read like now, or a lot. The thing about Hannah Grace's books, I just binge them. I sit down, I binge them, like I can't stop reading. It looks like it's about to pour rain, which just adds to the ambience. I literally just had a shower. That's why my hair's so wet. But I am so excited to sit down and read this. So far, all I know is that we are following, I think it's called Callie. Callie, let me look up pronunciation because if I am terrible at one thing, it is knowing how to pronounce names. I think it's Callie. Okay, we're calling her Callie. I don't think it's Haley. Maybe it is Haley. Can you let me know in the comments if it's Hallie or Haley? Because I've heard like Hal, like, you know, in The Parent Trap, Hal. Her name's like Hallie, I think. So that is a name. I do know it's a name. Anyway, we're calling her Hallie. We're following Hallie and Henry. Henry is a hockey player and he's also like very creative. He's very artistic. Hallie is a wannabe writer. She reads a lot. She reads so much, which obviously we all relate to that so much. She loves romance books. She has like a little book club going. Also, like the front cover is her with the folklore jumper on, like, come on. Her and Henry cross paths because they kind of have mutual friends, and Henry is failing one of his classes and she has taken that class, or has taken class with that tutor, so she knows how to like what that tutor wants. So she says just because she's a nice person, she's a nice friend, she's a bit of a people pleaser, she'll help Henry pass that class, and in return he said he'll help her write her book. She's never really experienced like true romance before. She was in a past relationship and it just like kind of sizzled out, like it really wasn't, she didn't have like butterflies or anything, so she's like struggling to write a romantic book because she doesn't know what she's basing it off. So he's like, I'll teach you, I'll show you what romance is like. So it's kind of a bit of a fake dating, but like not really. I wouldn't say it's like explicitly fake dating, like everyone thinks they're fake dating, because it's not that. But I'm really liking it so far. I mean, very early days, can't say much, but yeah, I'm gonna start reading it now and I'll update you soon. A bit later and I have pretty much just been like binge reading. Like I started this like I'd say about 2 hours ago, maybe a little bit more, and I am like already halfway through, well almost halfway through I would say. I am just under the 200 page mark. This is so much fun. This is so much fun. Okay, I feel like for a recap, I've still got so much to go. Like I don't know what could happen right now. I wanted to update you more. I just couldn't stop reading it. I couldn't put it down. First of all, I love Henry. I love Henry as a character. Henry is so sweet. He is so, oh my gosh, he understands Hallie so well, but also like she understands him. Like they just make such a perfect match, a perfect duo. I'm really liking him. I just think he's so like soft and like he's such an introvert. Like there was a quote earlier on in the book. Basically, Hallie like apologizes all the time. Like that's just kind of like, you know, a people pleaser thing. I can relate to that, definitely. And he's like, you don't need to apologize that much. Like why are you apologizing that much? And it kind of just made her stop and think. Like little things like that he's doing, and he's like, you don't need to be sorry about everything, you don't need to do everything for everyone else. Like I don't know, I feel like him pulling her up on that is such a good thing. Oh, it's starting to rain, finally. I love seeing Aurora and Anastasia in this book. In Wildfire, we really didn't see that many characters from Icebreaker, but in this we are seeing so many characters from Wildfire and Icebreaker. And like that is so fun. I love the kind of like friendships that are going on. Like there is just such good like girlhood kind of memories getting made. And also I like how Callie talks about not fitting in with her past relationships kind of friend group. I feel like that is something I can, not necessarily in the relationship side of things, but like when you don't fit into a friend group and you just try and you try and you just feel so left out and out of it all the time. I feel like that's something I definitely can relate to, and I think a lot of people can relate to, but I feel like she's finally found her people and she feels accepted. But then there's also things she's constantly like questioning about whether she should do this, whether she shouldn't do this. Like so many things about her is just so relatable. So yeah, anyway, I'm really liking it in case you can't tell. So I'm gonna continue reading it now and I'll give you a proper update once I'm a little bit more in. I won't finish it before I update you, my god. But no, I'll give you a little bit more of an update once I read a bit more. The way Henry treats Callie is like, this should just be the standard. This should be the standard for anyone. He is so just understanding. Like that is, I don't even know how to describe it. I wish you spent as much time imagining things for your book as you do imagining things that aren't going to happen in real life. Whilst I do not write, I can imagine, like I relate to that so much. The fact of like making scenarios up and just building up anxieties over nothing is so relatable. And she's like, I like that she's not irrational, and or if her scenarios are, or fears or nerves are illogical, she knows that, like she appreciates that. And I like that is such a thing I feel like all of us do. Like we know we're being irrational, we know we're being illogical, but it seems like it's gonna happen. The worst is gonna happen. I don't know, reading about that, it's good, it's really good. Anyway, that was it. Okay, bye. It is the next day. I've just made myself a matcha. Well, I've almost finished my matcha. I showed you my matcha recipe before, but like this is my new favorite way to make iced matchas. Coconut water is like an absolute game changer. It is so good. Anyway, I am getting so close to finishing Daydream. I am at page 320, so I only have like about 100 pages to go. So far, I am just swooning for Henry. Henry is so sweet. He does all these little things that just make such a big difference for Haley. And Haley, I feel like is just your like the core kind of comfort character. Like I feel like she just makes you so self-assured that like it's okay if your hobbies include writing and baking and like grandma crafts, like because mine do, well not the writing part, but the grandma crafts are very accurate. So I don't know, I feel like just as a reader, like, and I feel like a lot of us can just relate to her, and I don't know, it's just making me feel so connected and stuff. I'm really liking it so far. I think this is definitely going to be my favorite out of the series. Icebreaker was good. I don't know why it gets so much hate, honestly. I liked Icebreaker. I thought it was fine. Like yes, it was a bit spicy, but it was not compared to a lot of the stuff on BookTok. Like anyway, Wildfire was still good, but this is just so fun. This is so good. It feels like you just, honestly, I feel like I'm reading about my relationship, and I think our main character, Henry, I'm pretty sure he has ADHD. I don't know if it's diagnosed. I know that Hallie's sister does in this book, and I really like that representation. And it also kind of just feels like I'm reading about my relationship, like in real life. Like Henry is reminding me so much of my boyfriend, and Callie reminds me of me, and it just kind of feels like I'm reading about it, like me being a people pleaser and him telling her to stop all the time, but him also kind of sometimes finding like it hard to like pick up on social cues and stuff, but also like Callie doesn't really communicate with him on what she's saying because she thinks those thoughts are irrational, but yet it's going to affect her mood. Like that is so me. Anyway, I think I'm just going to sit down and finish it now, and we'll see what I think when I finally finish it. I just finished Daydream by Hannah Grace. Sorry about my voice. I am getting a little bit sick, I think, so I'm going to be talking a bit quieter because it hurts. But I really, really like this. It is definitely my favorite from the series. I think my only critique is it felt a little bit dragged out. Like, it was 420 pages. I feel like it could have been a little bit less. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt a little bit dragged out, and I feel like some scenes weren't as necessary. Other scenes could have been like amped up a little bit more as well. It could have been a little bit shorter, but apart from that, I really, really liked it. I've seen a lot of people say that, like, I feel like you either love it or it's just not your kind of romance, like, because this doesn't have like enemies to lovers, like tension you could cut with a knife, like anything like that. It is much more friends to lovers, and I just feel like I relate to this kind of romance so much more than I do to like spicy romances or just intense romances. I really liked it. It was kind of refreshing, and I feel like they both respected each other so much, and I appreciate that because we don't get that all the time. Definitely a different vibe to Icebreaker. Like, I feel like Icebreaker, Wildfire, and Daydream all have a very separate vibe that are from like 3 different kind of people. And this is definitely my kind of, I'm that kind of person. I don't know what I'll rate it yet. I think I'm leaning towards a 4.25 stars. I really liked it. I thought it was really, really good. It is a little bit spicy. There are a few spice scenes. So if that's something you want to avoid, like, they are skippable. Like, you can just skim past them. For our next book, I think we are going to go with Brandon Sanderson. This is Well of Ascension. This is actually the second book in the Mistborn series. This is probably one of like, well, Brandon Sanderson's most popular series. I think it originally was a trilogy, but I think there are more in the series now. It just is all over my TikTok. I feel like I am on 2 sides of TikTok, or booktok. The cute romance side of things, the like Boys Over Tommen, Magnolia Parks, and then I kind of have a split between 2 fantasies. I've got romantasy, like fun, like kind of Zodiac Academy vibes. Not that I love Zodiac Academy, but like that kind of vibe, like romantasy. And then Brandon Sanderson. Like, Brandon Sanderson has his own personal section, and I want to get into his books a lot more. I've only obviously read the first book in the Mistborn series, so I am so excited to continue it. I loved the first book. Like, I just think the world building, everything about it, so insanely unique. He's an absolute genius at writing fantasy books. So I get why they're so popular. I get why they overtake my booktok so often, and I want to be part of that. I really, really do. So I think it's finally time to move on to the second one. This is a thick book. We're talking over 700 pages, almost 800 pages. Yeah, almost 800 pages. Got a lot to get through, and it's not exactly a book you can skim by. You have to read every single detail. Okay though, I'm excited. Hopefully I read a good amount today. I'm hoping to get through at least like 50 to 100 pages. Like, I feel like that to understand a fantasy book is like this, I need to like sit down and immerse myself in it for a good while. So hopefully that'll happen today. So since I last talked to you, there's been quite a change in location. We have a family friend who lives at the beach, or who has a house at the beach. And we spontaneously came down here for a few days, which is really, really nice. I just finished uni for the semester, so we're just kind of having a little like 2-day getaway, which is very, very nice. And for some reason, when I'm at the beach, I can like suddenly read so much more. I can just like completely focus on my book and get lost in it, and it is just the best feeling ever. The place is amazing because there are so many incredible reading corners that I'm sure you will see just looking out of the beach. Like, it is the most wonderful thing ever. So for a reading update, I have actually read quite a lot. I am about halfway through this book, which I did not think I would be saying that quickly, but I am about at page 300, and I am obsessed with Brandon Sanderson. Like, if you haven't started Brandon Sanderson, this is your sign. He is the most incredible writer I think I have ever read about. Like, his world building is so magical, and oh my gosh. So obviously this is the second book in the Mistborn series. This has been probably one of the most intimidating books on my TBR for quite a while now. It was one thing getting through the first book and like actually being able to tick that off. I think that was about 600 pages. This one's like almost 800 pages. So this is so much more intimidating. Like, look how thick it is. But so far, I am loving it. So far, I am loving every single second. So as I said, continuing from the first book, Brandon Sanderson's, a lot of his series at least, are all interconnected. So they're all in this universe called the Cosmere. And so they're all interconnected, and they all have the same magic system. So that's the one good thing about Brandon Sanderson. Like, yes, he is super confusing, but once you like understand that magic system, you're kind of set for the rest of his universe, and you just have to work on understanding the characters and the politics. But basically, in this world, there are people called Mistborn who weld metals or use different types of different metals to give them certain magical powers. Like some metals help you stay awake for longer, some metals gather immense strength really, really quickly. It is super, super interesting, and not everyone can do this, only Mistborns can do this. Oh, so it tells you, like, so tin increases senses, brass soothes emotions, zinc riots emotions. Then there's different kind of types of people, like magical people, like different kind of magic levels, and Mistborns are like the top, like they're the most magical. We are following our main protagonist Vin, and I won't say too much about it because I feel like it's a spoiler going into Like, I can't talk about this book obviously, but it is basically a heist kind of situation. Our main protagonist goes undercover, so we have like balls undercover, galas, like all that kind of stuff. It's just like so fun, such a good environment, such a fun environment. I just absolutely am obsessed with this series. I can't wait to continue reading this. So I'm actually gonna draw a bath at the moment and then read in the bath, because I don't have a bath at my place and it's like one of my favorite things to do, to relax and sit in the bath and read. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Hang on, I need to show you the view from this room. The view. It's the next day, almost, well not almost, it feels like almost because it's such a big book, but I'm getting to the end of Mistborn number 2. Honestly, this has shocked me. This book is like, there are so many jaw-dropping moments and just like the character development and the plot development, and it's just what Brandon Sanderson does is he never lets you be on track. He will make the most bizarre, like you'll think of something, you'll be like, no, there's no way that could happen, and he'll make it happen. He's that kind of writer. It actually scares me a little bit now and then. Politics in this is definitely very heavy. Like, you definitely have to have your mind switched on whilst reading it. You can't just mindlessly read it and like forget about everything else. But in saying that, it is so addictive and it is quite easy to understand. I actually can't believe I've read this so quickly, like this chunk. So I have about 250 pages left, I would say. So I'm definitely getting through it, and I'm determined to finish it today. I am going to finish it today because I want to start my next book very soon, which I have decided on, and I will tell you very soon. But yeah, amazing. I don't know what's going to happen at the end. This kind of whole book has been war strategies and a little bit of actions, negotiations, all that kind of stuff, like trying to restore the final empire after what happened in the first book. And I don't know, it's definitely, it's really good, and I feel like not a lot has happened yet. I've been so entertained the entire time. Like, how many pages in? I think I'm 400 pages in. Love our main protagonist, Vin. I think she is so cool. And I feel like there's been a lot of character development with her in this book. I think, like, she's a very, very strong female character. And very magically strong as well. And, like, stronger than a lot of the males. And kind of, like, she still wants to be loved, but, like, she kind of feels like males won't love her because they can't protect her. Like, she'll be protecting them. That's a whole kind of situation that I'm really intrigued in, because I feel like that's such a... I don't know. It's very interesting to me. I am really, really enjoying it. Absolutely obsessed. Also, this is my view right now. Like, are you serious? So I'll just hopefully read all day. We are doing a few things today while we're here, but not too much. I definitely have a lot of time to read. So I finished The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. Honestly, this flew by. This was like almost an 800-page book, as I've said many a time, and I expected it would be really, really hard to get through, but this flew by. The way Brandon Sanderson writes is so addictive. You can't stop thinking about his worlds and his characters while you're not reading it. It's that kind of addictive. This ending, like the last, I'd say 100 pages, just my jaw was on the floor. There were so many plot twists that I didn't see coming from like a mile away, and I can't believe it ended like this. It's made me want to go on to the next one like so quickly, so I'm definitely gonna have to go and buy the next one soon. I am obsessed with this. This is a 5 stars. This is easily a 5 stars. I'm yet to find a Brandon Sanderson book that isn't a 5-star read. There is just something about his writing that like gets me every single time, and I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop reading it. I love it so much. I definitely had tears in my eyes a few points during this. Just because I don't trust Brandon Sanderson, and he will easily just make the most bizarre things happen that you're like, no, that could never happen. Yeah, he'll make it happen. So I don't trust him in certain situations, but he came through on this one. He came through, thank God, because if not, I would have been bawling my eyes out. But they were already watering, and it takes a lot to make me emotional whilst reading, in at least sad emotional. Anyway, this is your sign to pick up this universe. I know they're big and I know they're scary, but they are so, so worth it. Like, every single second of this was worth it. His books, I don't skim read. Like, some books, like romance books, I wouldn't say skim read, but like I kind of read quicker. But his books, I read like every single word because you need to, but also just because it's so intriguing, and like the way he writes is so digestible yet beautiful. I don't know if that makes sense. I need to read The Hero of Ages now, and I think that's the original trilogy done, but I do think there are more. I know that I want to read the Mistborn series and then go on to the Way of Kings. I'm very nervous for the Way of Kings. We'll be doing reading vlogs on that as well. But yeah, this one is now done. I am so excited to say my next read is going to be Quicksilver. I have forgotten the author, 2 seconds. Okay, Quicksilver by Callie Hart. That is what I'm going to be reading. This book has been taking over my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, everything. Everyone I know is reading it. Every romance reader, every fantasy reader, every romantasy reader is reading it, and I feel so left out, but also I am so scared about it because I've been seeing such like mixed things about this book. Some people either absolutely love it and it's like one of their new favorite romances, and some people think it's like basically the same as ACOTAR. And like very, like almost too similar to ACOTAR. So I don't know what I'm gonna think, but I do know that I haven't read ACOTAR. Like the first time I read ACOTAR was years ago. Reading this now is gonna be fun no matter what, because it's not like I just read ACOTAR and then I'm gonna go read this. Like it's not like I would just be comparing all the similarities. And I'm gonna go in with a very open mind, expecting nothing, not like a literary masterpiece, not like what I just read, but just a fun romancy read. That is what I've been told. I posted about it on my story a while ago. And Emmy reads, if you don't follow her, please do. She is like amazing and she reads so much. And she sent me a message just like saying, it's nothing, it's just a fun romancy fairy kind of read. That's basically what I need to go in, and like the characters are great. So I'm excited to learn about the characters. I'm excited to see all of that. I'm going to be reading it on my Kindle because I don't have the physical copy. I do believe it's getting traditionally published very soon in the next month or so. But when they like accept that it's going to be traditionally published, all of the indie copies are like impossible to get. So that's why I don't have the physical copy. But yeah, I'm just so happy I finished this, and just like feels like such an accomplishment. Okay, I'm hoping you can see me, or at least hear me well enough. Change locations again. Sorry. But hey, it's kind of been fun. I've had a busy few days, so I haven't actually had the chance to start Quicksilver, but I started it last night. Now, as I said before, I've seen this all over. My TikTok, my booktok, like everything is being about this book. If I go in wanting to be obsessed with it, I might like not have as good a time reading it if I'm not enjoying it, but if I just go in kind of thinking, oh, this is gonna be a good romancy, then I'll have more fun. I don't know if that makes sense. Regardless, I am already 20% of the way through. I know that doesn't sound like much, but it is like a 600-page book, 680-page book or something. So it's actually a decent chunk of the way in. I am liking it so much more than I thought I was going to. I did not expect to like this book, honestly. Like, I kind of was going to be polite about it and be polite about not liking it, but I am having such a good time. I'm just kind of shocked. This is really fun. It is similar to ACOTAR at all. I'm struggling to remember because I read ACOTAR for the first time about 4 years ago. I read it when I was like in high school. So obviously it's kind of like, I can't remember it that well, and I haven't reread it since or anything. So this is just, I don't know, I'm really, really enjoying it. I really am. Our main protagonist is a little bit but I love our main love interest. I love the world we're set in. Like, I love fairies, like anything fairies, anything magic, I'm going to instantly be obsessed with. It's a really like easy romancy read, and that is definitely what I was wanting. I'm gonna just sit down and read for like a good amount of time now. It's such a beautiful day outside, so, oh, and there's Maisie. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I'm just gonna sit down and read for a while, but like, so far, I'm really liking it. Honestly, I can't tell you too much of the plot. Like, we're following, our main protagonist is a girl that lives in kind of the human district of this world, and she steals and stuff so that she can make a living. And then one day she steals something a little bit too much, gets caught, gets taken away to the kind of Frey kingdom to serve her punishment. Something happens and she kind of is held like captive there. So I guess in that sense, it's a bit similar to ACOTAR, like kind of a similar premise, but the worlds feel very different. Like the worlds feel super different, and that's what I am liking so far. Like, I love a good, unique kind of magical world. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna keep reading now and I'll update you when I'm a little bit more of the way through. It is a bit later in the day. I have read about 44 something like that % of Quicksilver, and I am like absolutely loving it. I just think it is so much fun. I don't know what it is exactly about it, but I think the characters and the world is just super fun and super intriguing. I kind of just can't stop thinking about it, honestly. Maisie's here and just being the cutest little girl ever. Thank you so much. Honestly, I don't even have that much to update apart from the fact that I am thoroughly enjoying myself and like kicking myself forever not thinking good of this book, because I kind of went in just expecting it to be so similar to everything else. And whilst it isn't like a super original fantasy romance, that's for sure, the characters I feel like are very original. And just the banter. The banter is so good. If you like Powerless, like that kind of banter wit situation in a book, I feel like you'll really enjoy this as well. Like it's giving that vibe. So yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I'm gonna keep reading today. Hopefully I'll get like a good % of the way through today. Hopefully I'll finish it soon. But yeah, fingers crossed for me. I'm about 70% of the way through Quicksilver now. I am thoroughly enjoying myself. Like, I have not been able to put it down since I started it. Literally just because, like, it's so much fun. I'm hoping you can see me okay again. I'm sorry. I love outside. I like being in the sun. And, like, I'm really liking Quicksilver. I posted a video and you guys were just like, I knew you'd like it. And, like, start of my dark romance, dark fantasy journey. Now, I do not know if it will be the start of that journey because I'm skimming past all the spicy scenes in this. I wouldn't say this is as spicy as I expected. Like, it is definitely very, like, there's not too much going on. The world and the magic system is definitely a lot more present than I thought it was going to be, which I'm so happy about. I'm loving the world, honestly. Like, we've got Frey, we've got pixies, magic that kind of relates to metals, and then we also kind of have like this ongoing political war, which is also really interesting. I get how some people think it's similar to ACOTAR in the sense that there's Frey, but obviously that's not unique to ACOTAR. But there's also like different kind of, not courts, but like different kind of palaces that they're called. I can't remember, but like there's the winter one where so it's like always winter, always snowing. I don't know if the physical book has a like glossary, but I feel like it should. Hopefully it will. And our main protagonist is, I feel like she's definitely redeeming herself. She's definitely not doing what I would be doing in this situation, but anyway, yeah, 70% through, still really enjoying it. I think I've got about 200 pages left. Hopefully I'll finish it today. It's actually the next day to when I spoke to you last. Although I'm wearing the same jumper, it is 11:20 in the next day. So I've got a good amount of time. I'm going out for lunch with my mum later, which will be gorgeous. But then I've got a lot of like the rest of the day to read, so I'm very excited about that. Yeah, hopefully I'll finish it. I just like, it's giving me giddy feelings. Like, I'm just getting giddy whilst I'm reading it, which I haven't had that in a fantasy romance book in such a long time. So I'm eating that up. I'm loving it. I highly recommend it. And like, as I said, I'm not a spice kind of girl, but I'm just skimming past the spicy scenes. That's fine. Like, I'm allowed to do, like, you know, I'm reading it for the plot, and I love the small interactions with our characters. Like, I'm just so much more of small interactions that like lead up to all this chemistry. That's what I love. I'm not really like straight away insta love spice kind of person. Oh, I will say though, this wasn't instantly spicy at all. Like, it was definitely a bit of a slow burn. I would say it's kind of ow, stupid prayer. I would say it's kind of enemies to lovers, but like, I'm not explicitly, it's not like they really hate each other. They're just kind of like irritated by each other. Like, I feel like there's a fine line when it comes to like enemies to lovers. And it's definitely not grumpy Sunshine, because the girl is not Sunshine. She's pretty damn grumpy too. So I don't know what you'd call it, but whatever it is, it's super fun. It's super interesting, super engaging. I'm gonna keep reading now. We'll see how far I get into before I have to go to lunch. Oh, one more thing. Something I am having trouble with is the fact that like one of the main guys is called Kingfisher. And all I can think of, isn't that a type of bird? Like, don't we have a bird, like a kingfisher bird? Because I can't take his name seriously. Hang on. Yeah, it is. It is a type of bird. It's these little guys. I knew it was a type of bird. And so now whenever I like, I can't take him seriously. Like, I can take him seriously, but I like it when they abbreviate his name, because then it's not like Kingfisher. Anyway, that's the only problem I'm having so far. I'm sorry, I just need to read this quote. If you don't want to listen to a quote, it's not going to spoil anything. But if you don't want to listen to a quote, just fast forward like, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, maybe not even that. What? I whispered. He thought for a moment, appearing to be decided whether he'd answer the question. Then he said, I was wrong, you know. You are a good thief. What have I stolen? He smiled a small, sad smile, slowly shaking his head. Sleep a little, the water will stay warm. Does he mean she's stolen his heart? Because that's the cutest thing. I'm fine, Code. Code is now checking up on me. I'm fine. Anyway, cutest thing in the world. Oh my god. Okay, so I finished Quicksilver because literally could not stop thinking about it, could not stop binging it. It's one of those romantic novels that like, once you're immersed in that world, once you've read the first 50 to 100 pages, you can't stop and think about anything else. This just becomes the only thing you can think about, the only thing that's on replay in your mind. Like, it's so addictive. And honestly, I've been craving that from a fantasy novel recently. I've been craving that addictiveness, like, or romantic novel, like when you're just so excited about the love interests and what's going to happen, like with the plot, but also just with the subplot of romance. Like, this subplot of romance was so good. I skip most of the spicy scenes just because I don't really like take a liking to them. I prefer to just kind of skim over them. but like some of these are just, oh my god. But like the plot and just like the chemistry between these characters was so good. I think this is definitely worth the hype. I think it is so worth the hype that it's getting. I am still undecided on a rating, but it is definitely 4 stars or above. Like I guess we'll just wait till my wrap up to like, and then I'll decide, but like it's 4 stars or above. It's so good. Also, while I'm talking about like rating stuff, I have a Fable. I've been using Fable so much more than Goodreads. This isn't like sponsored or anything, but just as a reader and someone who like likes to track what they're reading so they can like, because obviously I do monthly wrap-ups and everything. Goodreads has just been super glitchy for me recently, so I've really enjoyed Fable. I just think it's like, I don't know, it's a very fun app. So I'll leave my like link in my bio if you want to follow me. That it makes it so much easier to track what I'm reading, and like you can also rate things half stars, which I love. Anyway, that's like if you want to keep updated on what I'm like reading real time. But yeah, absolutely obsessed with this. I think it is so worth the hype that it's getting. I think you'll probably love it if you just love any kind of romantasy. I think there's a really good balance between romance and fantasy. I feel like with a lot of romantasies that I see on booktok, usually they're more romance than they are fantasy. It's like romance with fantastical elements, but I feel like this had a really good magical world. I love the magic system. I felt really magical, which is something I always want. Like I always crave that. So yeah, overall, like I really thoroughly enjoyed myself. I reckon like 4.25 or 4.75, like something like that, like in between those. I really enjoyed it. I had such a good time reading it. And I'm just shocked because I really went in with low expectations. I think I really went in thinking I was not going to enjoy this. It's blown me away. It really has. So now that we have finished this book, that brings us to the end of the vlog. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm definitely hoping to do a part 2 to this series because I love like reading and giving my thoughts on popular books and if they're going to live up to the hype that they're getting. So if you want more, please let me know. I'd love to do them. Thank you so much for watching, and if you stayed till the end of the video, comment a fairy emoji. And if you're still here, like thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. But that's all for now, and I will see you in my next video.